All right, Shalom. This is Gamali Allah at Great Millstone, Atlanta. Want to give all praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to all the Akim pushing out this truth and sincerity. And it's a quick lesson, and this is going to be centered around basically be content, and the Lord is with you. Okay. Now there's a post that I found, and it's pretty spiritual. So I'll go ahead and read it, and I'm gonna add some commentary to it. It says, "Beware of destination addiction. The idea that happiness is in the next place, the next job, or even with the next partner. Until you give up the idea that happiness is somewhere else, it will never be where you are." All right. And it's pretty heavy because a lot of times in this truth, we always feel like we don't have enough. Okay, we always feel you know like we're not content with what we have. You know what I mean? And that's on in a carnal sense, but it's also in a spiritual sense. So it's also being fulfilled. Because a lot of times lack of fulfillment can really it can make you insecure. Okay, and it can mess with your head. And when you're content with what you have, it gives you a level of confidence. Okay, and it gives you a level of thankfulness. Okay, being grateful. Elder Ariala did a lesson on that recently. Basically, being grateful. you know Now there's another post that I want to get into, and like I said, I'm going to bring out some precepts in a second. All right, but this one, it says wanting positive experience is a negative experience. So I read that again. Wanting positive experience is a negative experience. And the reason why is because you don't have fulfillment. If you're wanting something positive to happen to you, then you basically don't have that fulfillment. Now let's look up what fulfillment is real quick. Fulfillment definition. The achievement of something desired, promised, or predicted. All right, the meeting of a requirement or condition. Okay. So if you're not fulfilled, that means you really haven't achieved. You're not satisfied with what you've achieved. Okay. You haven't met your own requirements. Now, there's a balance, which like I said, I'm going to get into, because I'm going to get into I'm going to get into some scriptures as well. But there's also a balance with wanting more. Okay, now you can want more for yourself, but you also have to acknowledge and appreciate and accept what you have already. Now by no means am I just saying, remain stagnant and just, accept what you have and that's it. No, you can always want more, but are you also is your will to want more overshadowing your fulfillment? Okay, in other words, are you fulfilled with what you have? And that's why your intent is very important as far as why you want certain things. You have to always ask yourself, because you might ask, the Heavenly Father, you might ask for something, some money, right? You might ask the Lord for some money. Now, personally, in my opinion, that's not a good thing to ask the Lord, Because what is it behind the money that you really want? Do you want financial? Do you want financial stability? Is that what you want? So you have to be specific, and you have to know your intent behind it. What's your intent? Do you want some money? You want the Lord to give you some money so you can go flex on niggas and buy a new car and this and this and that? Or do you want the money so that you can add to the ministry and add to yourself, and so that it'll better you as a person, you and the spirit and personally, you know. So it's all about what is your intent behind wanting the money. All right. Now I'll go back to it. It says wanting positive experience is a negative experience. Yeah, because you have a lot of people that they are miserable because they aren't, especially well, some people call it a midlife crisis, and you have a lot of people, millennials around, in their 20s, early and mid 20s, that feel like they haven't achieved anything. They feel like they always want more and more and more, because they feel like they haven't done anything. But they don't realize, look, you're still young. You still have the world ahead of you. All right? And that's a negative experience, to want more. It's a negative experience to want something positive, because I'll go ahead and read it because it's going to explain it. It says, accepting negative experience is a positive experience. It's what a philosopher, Alan Watts, used to refer to as the backwards law. The idea that the more you pursue feeling better all the time, the less satisfied you become, as pursuing something only reinforces the fact that you lack it in the first place. Right, so, if you're always focused on the lack of things, then, you're not going to be fulfilled. Okay? You're gonna always feel like, it's never enough, you know? So let me go. I don't want to ramble on too long. Let me go ahead and get some precepts, and I'll come back to this article. All right, but this is 1 Timothy 6:6. But godliness with contentment is great gain. Okay? For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. Okay? Verse 8. And having food and raiment, let us therewith be content. All right? But they which be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. Yeah, because the reason why rich fall into temptation and a snare, because it's a trap. Because if you're always wanting something, and you're wanting more and more and more, and what you have is never enough, then ultimately you fall into a rat race. Okay? You fall into, always chasing, and never stepping back to realize, wow, you know what? I have a lot. The Lord has blessed me with a lot of things. Reflect on what you have. Accept what you have. And it says, food and raiment, let us therewith be content. So really the gist of this lesson is being content, So food and clothing, as long as you have food, as long as you have clothing, as long as you have a roof over your head, you're fine. Okay? Because this world will put pressure on you. That's why, a lot of 20-year-olds, they feel that pressure, like, oh man, I gotta get my career going. I gotta get this going. I gotta get that going. My time is ticking. My clock is ticking. I'm getting older. And everyone feels like they're racing the clock without realizing, wow, you know what? I have accomplished a lot. Let me, I'm able to sustain living. I'm able to do this. I'm able to do that. And it says, but godliness with contentment is great gain. Okay? So going back to this, it says, accepting negative experience is a positive experience. That's great gain. Okay, godliness with contentment. So, you know, it says, "For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out." So, always having that mindset that, you know what, I don't have a lot, but I accept that. That's a positive thing because you're like, because ultimately you don't have anything to lose. Okay? Now I keep going into this is Matthew 6:25. Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what you shall eat or what you shall drink, nor yet for your body, what ye shall put on. Is not the life more than is not the life more than meat, and the body more than raiment? Okay? Yeah, because you know, basically a lot of people will have anxiety. Anxiety, pressure of the world. This world will try to pressure you into you know uh, uh, achieving certain things, getting a degree, getting certain accomplishments and stuff. But going back to this one, it says the idea that happiness is in the next place. So a lot of times you always are chasing something. You know, it's like that. Let's see, the carrot, dangling the carrot. I'll pull it up so you get a visual. Okay, this is the dang. This is dangling the carrot. Okay, you know, it's right there in front of you. Here's a good one. So it's right there in front of you. Shit, this dude is finished. I don't know why it's not loading up. Hold on. Okay, we'll just pull up this one. So that carrot is right there in front of you, but you'll never be able to get it because it's not within arm's reach for you to grab it. So you're moving forward. You're like, you're running as if you're gonna get the carrot, but you'll never really reach it. Okay, because see, this world is designed to make you want. All right, and not accept. Okay, not be grateful, not be thankful. Okay, all right. So that's why it's very important to be content. But I'll go back. It says, uh, take no thought for your life, what you shall eat or what you shall drink, because a lot of times, we'll get caught up in planning and I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to, you know, I want to basically, you want to do things, man, and it's in our spirit to want things, but you don't get carried away in that. Okay, it says, "Behold the fowl." Verse 26. "Behold the fowls of the air, for they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns. Yet your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are they not much better than they? Are ye not much better than they?" Right. So you have birds, you know, and they sow not and they don't reap. Yet the heavenly Father feedeth them. Okay. So birds aren't thinking, oh man, they're not stressing where they're gonna get their next meal. They're not stressing. You shouldn't stress over. You shouldn't stress over things that are not in your control, because ultimately your life is really not in your control. If you recognize that the Lord controls everything, then you'll realize that we're just a simulation. Okay, we're just playing out the roles that the Most High ordained to us. Okay, but a lot of times we'll get caught up in wanting more, wanting things. I don't want to be too redundant, so I'll just keep going. It said, this is Philippians 4:11. It says, not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content. Okay? I know how to be abased, and I know how to abound. Everywhere and in all things I am instructed to be both full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need. Right, so that's why I said it's the balance, and this is a perfect, when you read that verse 12, this is a perfect way of having the balanced mindset. You should be full and be hungry at the same time. It says, in all things I am instructed both to be full and to be hungry. Okay? So we're full with the Spirit, okay, because the Spirit is dealing with us. So we should be fulfilled through the Spirit because we have this truth. But we also got to be hungry. Okay, we can't be. What I'm saying is, you can't be content and just shrug your shoulders and just have your hands in your pocket. You got to still want more. You got to always want more, but recognizing what you have. And that's the balance of it. It says, I both know how to be abased and I know how to abound. So you have to be able to run both sides. Okay, you got to be able to be abased, which means be on the bottom, and you got to know how to be on the top. Because when you're on the top and you have gain, carnal gain, or whatever, you will tend to you can tend to be too content. Okay, but when you're based, on the flip side, you are too you can be very desiring, if that's a word. You can be very desirous, whatever the word is, but basically you can have a tendency to overly desire things, okay? But you got to be able to do both, okay? It says well, that was the point. I'll keep moving. All right, and Yahawashi said unto them, I am the bread of life. He that cometh to me shall never hunger, and he that believeth on me shall never thirst. Okay, so that's what I'm saying as far as being fulfilled. Okay, we got the Holy Spirit, man. We shouldn't ever feel like, man, I'm not, that feeling of anxiety of, we don't have enough. Okay, we're hungry. Okay, we gotta be full, like we just read. We gotta be full, and you gotta have that spirit of never thirsting. Now, like I said, you can be. This is basically saying, you should be full in the spirit of Yahawashi, because Yahawashi is the bread of life. So ultimately, the Lord is going to bless us with whatever we need, whatever nutrients we need, our basic needs, but, the difference is, or the balance of it is, we still it's still okay to want more, I'll go back to the article. It says, the idea that the more you pursue feeling better all the time, the less satisfied you become, as pursuing something only reinforces that you lack it in the first place. The more you desperately want to be rich, the more poor and unworthy you feel, regardless of how much money you actually make. The more you desperately want to be sexy and desired, the uglier you come to see yourself, regardless of your actual physical appearance. The more you desperately want to be happy and loved, the lonelier and more afraid you become, regardless of those who surround you. The more you want to be spiritually enlightened, and the more self-centered and shallow you become in trying to get there. Okay? So, these are things that are important to take in, okay? Because if you're not focused on, if you're not acknowledging what you have already, but you're constantly focused on the lack and, man, I don't have this, I don't have that, you're never going to be satisfied, and women are like that. you know me personally, I deal with a woman like that. She always feels like, she's never she always, is never accepting of her body. She always feels like, oh, uh uh you know it, I'll read it because it says, the more the more desperately you want to be sexy and desired. Women deal with insecurity, okay? uh uh, uh Physical insecurity. And it says, the uglier you come to see yourself. And like I said, man, I deal with a woman that's just like this, man. She wants to be, she has the desire to be sexy and desired, but she doesn't realize that, she looks good. She has to accept how she is. So the whole thing in this is acceptance, man. You gotta accept things, man. And when you can accept things, it makes you feel a lot better, man. When you can just accept things for the way they are. This is the definition of accept. Believe or come to recognize. Okay? Consent to receive. So you gotta recognize, you gotta believe, or come to recognize, man. Recognize that the Spirit is with you. I'll give you an example, just like going back to this thing. uh 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 the more you want to be, the more you yearn to be recognized. The less recognized you become. Okay? The more you want to believe in YAHAWASHI, the less you actually believe in him. You may want to believe in YAHAWASHI, but that want without you actually doing it, if you're not actually doing it, what? Let me just believe. But you want to believe in him, then ultimately that's lack of belief. Okay? All right, we read that already. Let's go. Hebrews 13:5. Let your conversation be without covetousness, and be content with such things as ye have, for he hath said, I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. So be confident in the Lord. Be confident that the Lord is dealing with you, man. A lot of times you'll be insecure through the Spirit, and you'll feel like, man, you know what? I want, you'll beat yourself up, man. But you got to recognize that the Spirit is dealing with you, and you got to realize, okay, well, you know what? The Lord gave me this. Because what that turns into being unthankful, man. You don't want to be ungrateful and unthankful, man. You know? You always want more. You always feel like it's never enough. The Lord isn't giving you enough. But the Lord's like, look, man, I just gave you more faith, man. I just gave you this, man. That's like your parents, they always your parents you know you they get, you got your plate of food, and before you even finish what's on your plate, you going back and asking for seconds. Your parent, your folks gonna be like, yo, what the hell? Yo, finish what's on your plate, man. So that goes into being full. Okay, you gotta be full, and still hunger. And you know what? That's what it means to be full, but still hunger. Okay. You know what? I finished what's on my plate. The water for giving me what's on my plate. May I please have some more? That's what it means to constantly hunger. Okay. Yeah, you're full. You're full. But hey, can I please have more of the Spirit? Can I please have more of this? But like I said, you're not getting caught up into oh, I don't have more. I don't, you know, well, you just had some. You just got some food. You know. That was it on that. Let's get a couple more, and I'll close up. Luke 12:15, and he said unto them, take heed and beware of covetousness, for a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of things which he possesseth. Right. So, in a carnal sense, as far as, what we want, we might want, a new job. We might want a new things. We always gonna want things in a carnal sense, but this thing is not about abundance of things which you possess, man. This thing is not about that. Covetousness, which means basically you want what you have googly eyes for everything that you see, man. You want what's your neighbor's, what belongs to your neighbor. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, this is bad. I'll keep going. And he spake a parable unto them, saying, the ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentifully. And he thought within himself, what shall I do, because I have no room to bestow my fruits? And he said, this will I do. I will put down my barns and build greater. And there will I bestow all my fruits and goods. And say to my soul, soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry. But the Most High said unto him, thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. Then whose shall those things be which thou hast provided? All right, yeah. So ultimately, we can't get caught up into carnal things, man. So you gotta be grateful with what you have now, because you don't know when the Lord is gonna come back. Okay, we don't know. Tomorrow is never promised, man. So we can't get too caught up in, oh, well, I wanna do this, I wanna do that, I wanna, nothing wrong with wanting more, nothing wrong with bettering your situation, but don't get caught up in it. Don't allow that situation to not make you feel fulfilled with what you have. That's the point and the gist that I'm making, that I hope you can receive. All right. Ecclesiastes 3:13. And also that every man should eat and drink and enjoy the good of all his labor. It is the gift of the Most High. All right. So enjoy the good of all your labor, man. Sometimes you gotta sit back and enjoy what you have. Like I said, like a child. Comparing it to a child with toys. You get a child some toys, and then here they go asking you for more toys. Man, you sit down and play with the toys that I got you. Because the child is gonna grow up always wanting toys and different things, and and they're not gonna be satisfied with what they have. Be grateful, man. You gotta be grateful. All right. Proverbs 16:8, and I'll close up on this. Better is a little righteousness with great revenues without right. Okay. So that righteousness is what's key. Better is a little righteousness, which that word righteous means tazadak. Okay. It says then great revenues without right, and that word right means judgment. Okay. Justice, ordinance. Okay. All right. So, that's pretty much the point. Lord, when you were edified, I want to give all praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Rakakwadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone. Shalom.